Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again to another check-in with the Energon universe, this time with Transformers number 3. As always, I am Jay, person who transforms into somebody who is somehow less funny than he already was. So things are starting to pick up for the Energon universe to a degree. Both Duke and Cobra Commander's solo issues in the beginning of their runs start sometime near the end of the year. We've got a decent little start into Transformers, and of course Avoid Rivals has been going pretty consistent and has been getting some pretty consistent reception. So things are looking good so far, but beyond that, there's not a whole lot of news or changes, so let's just get right into it, shall we? So, previously on the Transformers. After a narrow escape from certain defeat by the hands of the Decepticons, the heroic Autobots introduce themselves to their human friends and give them the gist of what the hell's going on with their species and their war and all that. However, the brief peace is interrupted when the Decepticons once again recommence attacks on the power plant, and Optimus with Spike set out to go and fight the Decepticons once more. Meanwhile, Carly, secretly being followed by Laserbeak, returns to her house, only to discover Spike's father Sparky waiting there for her, and finding out that her own father is already dead at the hands of the Decepticons. As always, a quick recap of the issue. The story picks up where we left off, with Carly mourning the loss of her father, only to snap out of her panic when she realizes it's one of the Decepticons that killed her dad. Unfortunately for the both of them, Carly's unable to explain the situation as Laserbeak Kool-Aid Mans his way into the house and starts wreaking havoc. Fortunately, Cliffjumper followed Carly home and was able to fight off Laserbeak. But unfortunately, Sparky isn't exactly receptive of the rescue, and the two run off in panic. After a brief stop-in with the Decepticons, where we discover that their goal is to rebuild Teletran 1, presumably to revive the other Decepticons, Starscream gets to have a classic seething session about Megatron that gets interrupted when Laserbeak reports back what happened, and Skywarp is sent out to go take care of the humans and the Autobots. Back at town, Sparky and his war buddies are prepping for all-out war against the robot menace, while Carly attempts to explain the situation in full to them. Unfortunately, Cliffjumper again shows up at the wrong time and startles them all, leading to them opening fire on Cliffjumper. And wouldn't you know it, Skywarp shows up at that exact moment and begins rampaging through the town, causing havoc wherever he goes. Luckily for us, Optimus arrives just in time to lay good old-fashioned smackdown on Skywarp. But unfortunately, one of the townies blows up Optimus's arm, and Skywarp is able to turn the tables as the townies open fire on the both of them. Spike rushes in to try and stop, but unfortunately and surprisingly, Spike is caught in the crossfire and is shot down by the soldiers. Both Optimus and Sparky panic after this realization, and Optimus, so absolutely infuriated by what's going on, tears off his own broken arm and proceeds to beat the ever-loving shit out of Skywarp with it. With Skywarp lying in a pool of his own Energon, both Optimus and Sparky rush over to Spike's body, and the issue ends with Optimus transforming and vowing to Sparky that he's going to save Spike's life. So content-wise, it's again another very story-light issue, but it's definitely making it up for it with a whole bunch of action. And once again, this series just keeps getting better and better issue by issue. So again, story-wise, since it's so small, we'll just get that out of the way. I like what we're setting up here. I like that we're giving the Decepticons a very clear, distinct goal with their rampages. They're not just doing evil for evil's sake. They want to repair Teletran 1 for reasons that's not really specified. But at the very least, the Decepticons have a clear, distinct goal. And I do like that they're sticking with Teletran 1. They're not using their own ship. They don't have their own stuff just kind of laying on the side like they did with later parts of G1, where they just have their big fucking castle that comes out of nowhere. So I like that. I like that we're getting the whole humans don't have any distinction between the Transformers bit out of the way now. It's not that I hate it. I actually really like it when they do it. It's just, usually when they do it, they either do it way later in the series after a point where the Transformers have already been established and the normal person should know the difference between Autobot and Decepticon. Or, in the case like what they do with IDW, they drag it out for so fucking long that it just becomes insufferable and makes every human character seem like they're completely insane. So I like that we're setting it up. There's a nice reason to set it up. Again, so far the scale is very small. Considering so far the humans have really only had exposure to the Decepticons, it makes sense that they're just immediately fucking panicking. And I'm sure whatever happens next issue that resolves the plot line where they are with Spike and Sparky and Optimus, I'm sure they're kind of going to put that down, at least within the regards of the local town. I'm sure it's going to be on a wider scale. That's going to go for longer with the series. But I like that we're setting it up early, and I like that we're given a reason that we're going to kind of get it out of the way. As I'm sure I think what's probably going to happen is because it's kind of set in this small town, it's going to be a very small scale stakes for a little while, where the Autobots are kind of hanging out here, and that's their secret base. So they're doing the robots in disguise thing, where they have the whole town as kind of as their base, or they're hanging around there. The town kind of knows about them, but they're kind of in disguise everywhere else. I assume that's what we're going to be doing. I don't know, because it's pretty clear so far that the G.I. Joe stuff is going to tie in directly with this. I mean, again, last issue we had Duke shooting Starscream in the face, so who really knows? But I like that we're doing this trope, but we're getting it out of the way immediately. We're not going to drag it out. We're not going to bring it up later. We're setting it up first and foremost, and we're going to get through it. So it's good. I like that. I also really like the bits with Optimus. Again, we get some nice classic Optimus heroics, especially throughout the fight with him and Skywarp. Just the overall way his demeanor carries throughout the fight is really good. And I especially like at the end there when he sees Spike injured and he has that flashback to the bit with the deer from the previous issue, if you remember that. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that very quick callback that kind of just sets up, again, Optimus realizing the realities of his new situation. It's very interesting, and I really like the way he reacts to it. It's a very stoic reaction. It's very good, especially the stuff with his dad where Sparky's kind of freaking out and Optimus just very wordlessly picks up Spike and he's just like, come with me, we'll save your son. And I like that. I really liked that. It was really good. Very subtle. Just about the only thing I would really say is subtle, because, again, this is another action-based issue, and good fucking lord, it is another great 10 out of 10 with all the action. It's just non-stop craziness. The stuff early on with Laserbeak and Cliffjumper is relatively short. It's only like 2 or 3 pages, but it's really good. It's a nice little quick action beat that kind of sets up and kicks off the pace of the issue. It's good. It doesn't need to go any longer. It's not really something that needs to have 3 or 4 pages. It really is. It does everything it needed to do to set up the plot into motion, which is good. Again, Skywarp's a little rampage throughout the town, and he has a brief fight with Cliffjumper, but it's basically one-sided, because he basically just kicks him once and he wins. So it's good. It's a little toned down, at least Skywarp's rampage compared to before, where it was a lot of just like wanton destruction and killing humans left and right. And I'm pretty sure Skywarp doesn't even kill anybody. Like, he's definitely, like, reveling in the destruction he's causing, but he doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of damage, at least that we notice. Which is fine. I think it's fine to scale it down a tiny little bit, but it is somewhat noticeable that they've toned it down. They're not giving Skywarp as big a body count immediately as everybody else. But of course the highlight is the 1v1 fight with Optimus and Skywarp, and once again, Optimus goes fucking sicko mode. I'm not sure why DWJ has just turned Optimus into a full-on berserker brawler, but good God, I love every second of it. Optimus has just given 0 fucks about himself and protecting himself in any of his fights. He's just immediately thrashing everybody's ass like the biggest badass on the planet, and it's great. I love every second of it. Once again, Optimus is just literally physically beating the shit out of the Decepticons with every opportunity. Lots of grappling, Again, I'm not sure. I don't know why Optimus keeps busting out fucking pro wrestling moves on dudes, but it works with his character, and it works. I can tell DWJ really loves it. I mean, obviously he did that series, do a powerbomb, all about wrestling. But if it means more crazy content like this, I am all for it. Especially with a really great spotlight where Optimus busts out the fucking burning hammer on Skywarp, which is just a fucking treat to see at all. And of course, what will probably go down as one of the most iconic Optimus moments of all time from now until the end of time. Optimus beating Skywarp to a bloody, for lack of a better word, pulp with his own severed arm. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how else to describe it. There really isn't anything else I can say. Optimus beats somebody up with his own severed arm. That says it all. I don't need to tell you anything else. Like, if that sentence alone doesn't convince you to start reading this comic, fucking nothing will. Because where do you go from there? What else do you need to say? What else do you need? That's all I need, personally, to keep reading. If we keep getting more ridiculous shit like that, hell yeah, dude, this comic's gonna stay great. But really, like, I don't really need to say anything else, do I? I think that kind of summarizes the issue. Optimus beats somebody up with a severed arm. His own severed arm. The end. Honestly, great fucking issue. No notes, no other comments. It's great. I've been worried for the first two issues that the momentum is not going to be kept up. And I don't feel going into this issue, going through this one, that it's going to slow down. It may eventually slow down, and we'll see. And I think it'll be fine if it slows down a little bit. But I don't think it's going to drop down from this point, at least anytime soon at all, foreseeably. So, absolutely high remarks for this issue. Best one yet. And I am genuinely hoping that they somehow manage to top it next issue. So that's about it. The issue also ends with a teaser for the Cobra Commander series at the end. It's a pretty good teaser. It's not a whole lot really to say. It's Cobra Commander in some Arctic place, doesn't really say, looking for a ride to somewhere. And then some random jackass at the place makes fun of him, so Cobra Commander kills him and steals his car and rides off. That's it. It's like 3 pages, but does a good job at setting up the tone that they're going to go with for Cobra Commander. So I think that's good. I really like the art. I like the way Cobra Commander is drawn in this issue. He's got that kind of overcoat and the big hat like he had when he showed up in the G1 cartoon of Transformers, which is nice. But there isn't a whole lot else to say. I think they're going to set up a thing where they don't show him killing the guy per se, but we see like the sound effects of it, and we kind of see the aftermath of the guy's body. I think what they're going to do is they're going to have Cobra Commander either working with or somehow using Megatron and or Cybertronian tech in this series. Because that's been kind of the thing that they're setting up for the next arc in Transformers is, where the fuck is Megatron? What happened to him? And I think that's what they're going to go with, where Cobra Commander is going to be running around with Megatron as his own personal weapon in some capacity. So I don't think that's exactly a bad idea. They've done it before in a couple of things, but I think it could be done well. I think it's going to be very interesting if they do that. But again, this is basically speculation. There's no real evidence to actually support this. But we'll see. We've got another couple of weeks before that comes out, so who knows. But yeah, no, another great issue of Transformers. Absolutely no notes, absolutely no more comments. Duke's coming out in a couple of weeks, and sometime before then, I'm going to try to do a recap of Void Rivals, but again, that's going to be more scripted, so it might take a little bit longer, but who really cares? Either way, from this point on, I'm going to be doing individual readings of the issues, so you can just kind of catch up from there if you're interested. Either way, that's going to be it for this time. Thank you very much for watching.